episode number 83 with Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your host, Britt. Today, y'all, we have a good one. It's called Know Your Self-Worth with Miss Angela Sharif. How you doing today, boo-boo?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to be on Truth Be Told podcast.
I'm glad to have you on the podcast. Y'all, she got her own podcast too. I'm big on promoting each other. I am so excited that you came on the show today. Thank you so much for giving me your time. I love your spirit. That's how me and you was talking before. I said, "Oh yeah, we vibing. She good."
I'm looking forward to the conversation. I love valuable conversations.
Yeah,
So
me too. I think
I'm
that.
excited.
Thank you, boo. Thank you. I think it is so important, especially with the topic we're talking about today. Knowing your self worth. I think that a lot of people need to know the difference between self worth and self esteem. But before we go into all of that, what's up to Trey the Glue? How you doing, Trey? He is one of the best supporters. I'm definitely going to link you with him. If you don't know him, girl, he is in the podcast world. I love him to death because he's always promoting podcast hosts. So I appreciate you, Trey, for just plugging in and just being on the show. But
I
before we
love
go
it.
into the topic, Angela, you know me and you share a middle name. I'm Brittany Cherie, so you Angela Cherie. But let's go into the topic. And before we
Absolutely.
go,
And I don't meet a lot of Cherie, so I was really
yeah, that's what I said. And I spell it. I spell it the same way you spell it, boo. Do you
okay. Well,
hear
my mama
me?
was a little extra. She put the little thing on the end, whatever that is. So
Girl, my mama did that with my sister. So my sister is Desiree. So whenever she did the Desiree, she did that little thing at the top. And I was like, why did you do that? She was like, because that her name would have been Desiree. So maybe your mama knows something mine don't, because she didn't put that on mine, Cherie. Mine is just without it. So you know how we do. But before we go on to the topic, Boo, tell us about your podcast, and a little bit more about what you got going on.
absolutely. So again, thank you for having me. I hope everyone can hear me and see me well. I think you know how technology be tripping sometimes. So I hope y'all can hear me and see me on Truth Be Told podcast. I'm your girl Angela Cherie, host of the Ever Evolving podcast and founder of That Girl Texas Network. So over on Ever Evolving podcast, we have unpopular conversations that cause us to evolve, or at least starting the thought process, if you will. And then over at That Girl Texas Network, we provide community for women who like to network in Austin, Dallas, or what's our other one? Austin, Dallas, and Houston, Texas. So for those looking for community in the Texas area, ladies, That Girl Texas would love to have you. And yeah, that's a little bit about me. I'm a wife, mama, all those things. I do all the things. Got a lot going on over here.
I know that's right. Okay, Boo. So I remember you telling me we both in Texas. How far are you from Houston?
About 4 hours. Dallas is about 4 hours. So
Okay, so you in
yeah.
Dallas. My brother-in-law, my cousins, my family is in Dallas. I'm very familiar with Dallas. I definitely we gotta link up one day,
Uh,
because I'm big into what you're talking about, like being around like-minded women. It's so hard to be around people that want to grow.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I honestly think a lot of it has to do with what we're talking about today. It's an internal thing,
Yes.
but we'll get into it.
We sure gonna get into it. And before we get into it, guys, if you're new to this channel, please go like, share, and subscribe to Truth Be Told podcast. And Angela, let us know where we can find you at on social media as well.
Yeah, just head over to the Ever Evolving Podcast or that girl underscore Texas on Instagram. Either one of those, you'll find me there.
Hey, and I'm gonna make sure I put her information in the bio, yo. So y'all make sure y'all go hit that like button, go subscribe. It helps us out. Y'all don't understand, like it really does, like support each other, and it's just a click of a button. And guess what? Tomorrow is my birthday, so why can't y'all just go click that button? Hey. I wanted to talk about this topic today because tomorrow's my birthday. The reason I wanted to go into this topic is because so many people, sometimes they don't even know the definition of self-worth versus self-confidence. And sometimes they don't even know their worth, that they're so consumed with worldly things that they're trying to keep up with everything that's going on. Whether it's, oh, the new hairstyle, oh, the new how everybody getting their nails done, everybody getting BBL, they getting their lips sucked, they getting every addictions. It's so much going on in this world of the world that we should be more internal with what we got going on versus what everybody else doing. Because I'm gonna be real with y'all, half of us, and I ain't gonna say half of us, I'm gonna say some of us. Some of us like to follow these celebrities and want to know the latest trend. Y'all, they ain't thinking about us. Like they don't know you. Like they are human just like us. They have problems just like us. And sometimes people get so consumed with what's going on in the world. I was like, I need for all of us to have some type of boost today. We need a boost, a community boost, so everybody can know how worthy they are. I want to talk about the difference between, before we go into know your self-worth. Angela, can you give me a definition for you when you think about the difference between self-worth and self-confidence?
Right. So I think let me say this. For me, worth can always be measured. Worth has to do with value. So no matter where you are in life, no matter what you look like, no matter what's going on, knowing who you are, you can look at your life, you can look at your accomplishments, you can look at who you are, the work that you've done on yourself, and be able to say, I know that I'm worthy because of these things, because of literally who I am, not what I do. A lot of times when you're talking about self-esteem or self-confidence, it has a lot to do with, of course, mindset and how you perceive yourself. And a lot of times we measure that by external things. So that's usually fleeting things, whether it's social media, like you said, whether it's television. I think a lot of times our self-confidence and self-esteem are usually measured by what's external, and self-worth is usually measured by what's internal.
Yes, you hit it on the nail. Like I was like, so it took me a long time to understand the difference between the two. Whenever I just got into this space, like this personal development space. I thought the whole time it was me not having enough self confidence. And then I was like, wait a minute, I do all of that. I get my hair done. I put on this image for people to see outside, like you said, external things. But I wasn't working on the inside of me. Like I wasn't figuring out what ticked me, why I was the way I was, or why I was doing the things I was doing, or why certain people were bothering me. When you think about the topic, know your self worth, and going in a little deeper, what made you get into this headspace where you are today?
To be honest, I'm a work in progress, hence ever evolving, right? That's not just a title for my podcast. That is my life, because I feel like even when you think you got it together, something in life shows you, like you say, birthdays or life events will show you, wait a minute, I don't have it all together like I thought I did. And so for me, I'm still a work in progress. I think every day is a journey. Every day I'm working on, hey, who am I? Where am I at today? There are days when my confidence is a little higher. There are days that my confidence isn't. But again, I'm learning to focus on my worth. And no, I told somebody yesterday, I ain't gonna call no names. Someone made a comment about my weight. And I said, listen, whether I gain 15 or lose 15, I'm still pressured, right?
That's right.
I wasn't saying that from a place of confidence, because I am very self-conscious about where I am in my weight right now. But I said it from a place of worth and knowing my worth, and knowing that at whatever size I am, I'm still an amazing, beautiful being, flawed and all, fat and all. You hear me? So
Yes.
I'm still working on it. And sometimes it is speaking those things that are not, speaking those things that are not as though they were. The Bible says, so as a man thinketh, so is he. So for me, sometimes it's just speaking, even when I don't feel it. So still
You
working on
better
it.
say it. You better say it. You better say that, girl. You gave me chills when you threw that Bible verse out there, because that's exactly what it's about. It's speaking it into existence even when you don't feel like it. And let me just say something to you, boo. I love a confident woman. Like, it don't matter what size you are. I have women in my life. Like, I could name one of my homegirls. Shout out to Bianca. Shout out to my baby TT. These are two ladies that I know that are heavier set. But when I tell you, we'll be in a room and men flaunt to them before they flaunt to the little skinny mini over here. And I be looking like, girl, where you come from? Why you get that? What you got going on? I mean, it be foreign niggas. You know what I'm saying? So I just be sitting up here like, what is going on? And I just realized the way they carry themselves, the way they show up in a room. Like, when they show up in a room, you know they in the room. And I think sometimes it's all about knowing where you are, and like you said, knowing your self-worth, your internalness. That brings so much out. When you sit beside somebody who's negative, when you're sitting beside somebody who's snaring their nose up at you, like, why you acting the way you do? Birthday talks for me, y'all. I like to be by myself. I'm not even gonna front. I have to get like crunk. Like, I have to be like, okay, come on, Brittany, let get excited, invite some people. Like, my husband, if it ain't him, I really don't care to be around a whole bunch of
Me too.
girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, whatever. Like, if I see you, I see you. If I don't, I don't. I'm cool. And it's just because, like, where I'm at in my life, and in this peace, I'm on this peace journey, girl. And when I tell you, it is bringing so much out of me, so much goodness, and so much I'm learning about myself. But I wanted to share a book with you. I got the book. Hold on. Um, it's on my page. It's called Worthy by Jamie Kern Lemmer. And she had like a whole day seminar with all these different speakers: Ed Milet, Tony Robbins, Mel Robbins, Sarah Jake Roberts, like so many different people on there. Like, it had my attention all day, Angela. And I was like, okay, I gotta go back. I'll be grocery shopping, or I'll be out with the AirPod with the kids, and I'll just keep clicking into the show. And my husband was like, "What are you watching?" And I said, it keeps going me in, because it's just when you're around something that inspires you, or you see the growth within you, it can take off and you can go anywhere. My question to you is, during this journey of knowing your worth, knowing your value, um, what are some techniques or some tips that you can give to the audience as they're learning? They might not be where you are or where I am. Everybody is on their own journey. What is something that you could say to somebody who don't have that confidence or know how to raise their floor of their self-worth?
Yeah, well, you already hit on a few of them. I think who we are surrounded by, our environment, is super important. If you, like you said, are around a negative environment, or like I said, somebody pointing out your flaws or things that you're already, navigating through in a negative way, that's not going to be very helpful. So I believe the people that are around you should be able to also pour into you and affirm you, just like you're working on doing it for yourself. I personally, during this journey, I have had to cut off a few people. I have had to limit my time on my personal social media. Now, when it comes to business, I'll schedule stuff and I ain't got to be on. But when it comes to personally, I have not been on in a few months because I believe in safeguarding myself. If I'm already dealing and I'm already trying to find that confidence, well, when I see somebody who is, in the place that I'm struggling to get to, or, they showing their weight loss and I done gained 20 pounds, that may not be very helpful for me in this season. And so our environments, what we are ingesting, and I don't just mean, by mouth, but whatever we're looking at, our ear gates, our eye gates, that's super important. Safeguarding what you're listening to, what you are watching, what you are comparing yourself to. Kill the comparison. Those are all things that are super helpful. But for me, I know one of my main things, again, hate to be repetitive, but is affirmation. I believe in affirmations. I believe in positivity and speaking those things, and people say manifesting, all these things. I don't get into all that. I know that means different things for different people, but I will say I am intentional about feeding myself positive things until it becomes a reality to me.
Oh, I love it. And let me say this, I get what you're saying as far as like manifestation and all of that, but that is so real. Like I'm from North Carolina and I've been in Texas. It'll be 2 years in August. And so I manifested coming to Houston. Like I kept telling people, like people back home, I was like, I'm moving. I hadn't even looked at an apartment, looked at a house, had a job. I just knew that was my next destination. Now, I didn't know if I was going to be there like permanently, but I knew that it was time for me to go. And I really think the word that you put out there is being intentional about everything that you're trying to do within your life and getting up and speaking those things, like you said at the beginning, even when you don't feel it. Because I take pride in being in a community of, it's called Plans of the Righteous. And every morning we speak our affirmations. We read our Bible verses. We have a community. We talk. We chit chat. We girls, so we catty. But at the end of the day, it's just everybody just loving on everybody, congratulating everybody, nobody hating on nobody. Or even if you don't know something, because sometimes we scared to speak up. Sometimes we're scared to not know. And I'll be the first to say, I don't know. Can you
Right.
show me? Yeah, because how are you gonna be in a room with people and you don't how you gonna grow? I want to be in a room with somebody who know more than me. Because
Absolutely.
because if I'm in a room with somebody who don't know more than me, I feel like I'm in a room with a whole bunch of birds. And I'm sorry, but that's just what it is. Like, feel how you want to feel. Like, you over here talking about XYZ. I don't care about that. And I'm not trying to say I'm better than you. Like, that's just not what I'm trying to say. But this is where I am at in my life. And this is what I need, what I want to grow. When I got to this space, Angela, even being around certain family members, it just took me to a different headspace because I realized, oh my gosh, like I'm not here no more.
We have nothing in common.
We don't have
But
nothing in
blood.
common. What do you do when you're around people that you love? You know what I'm saying? That you really love and you're trying to still be in their life, but not be of their life.
Yeah, I mean, we all outgrow people, places, and things. And sometimes we apply different rules and standards to our families, but our family, they're people too. And
Right.
again, we are connected by blood, but just because we're connected by blood does not mean we're on the same wavelength, path, or journey. And I personally have had to make very hard decisions in regards to my family and boundaries. And it has been, again, a journey that's ever evolving, and it's difficult and hard. And some days, some weeks I do well and some weeks I don't. I fall back into certain patterns and I have to reinforce the boundary. But we have to just understand and be okay with the fact that my journey is different. We have to have confidence, not just in ourselves, but in the fact that I know where I'm going and this is the way that I'm going. And that's just what it is. And I always say, people who love you will understand. Those that do not, they don't need to be there. And
Yeah.
that's regardless of what their title or status is in your life. If it's going to hinder you, hurt you, or harm you, you need to get away from it. And again, we apply different standards to our family, but that applies to our family as well. Because most of us, we'll talk about our friends, but the friends are not the issue. It's the bloodline. It's what you come from, and it's unfortunate.
Yes.
It's unfortunate, especially in our culture. It's extremely unfortunate, but it's just the reality. And so when you know where you're going, you not only have to be confident in yourself, you have to be confident in where you're going and be okay with outgrowing what has always been.
I love it. I love how you spin it, everything that I'm bringing to you. I can tell that you've been in this headspace for a while. What are some things, if you could say to younger Angela, 14-year-old Angela, that is still ever evolving and didn't think that she would be where she is today?
Mm, that almost makes me emotional because I've come a very, very long way. But I
You
think
hear me, boo?
I hear you. Can you hear me?
Angela.
Can you hear me?
Boo boo.
I can hear you. Can you hear
You can
me?
hear me? I know you got,
I
I
can
can
hear
hear
you.
you now.
Okay. Yeah, I can hear
Okay,
you.
you can hear me. Go back.
It gets a bit emotional for me to talk about my younger self because I have come a long way and it has been a journey to get to where I am now. And so, we hear trust the process, but that's definitely something that I would tell younger me is to trust the process because I was always trying to fit in and always trying to please other people with the decisions in my life when I always knew where I am now, what I'm doing now was always who I was. I always had leadership skills. I always had a heart for people. I always had this righteous indignation to do more and be better. And but I would shy away from that. I would water down and dilute who I was to appease other people. So I would tell her to trust the process and be okay with being her. And it's okay. And you're going to be different. And you won't be liked all the time and you won't fit in all the time. But for who you're called to be, everything that you're experiencing, everything that you are going through, everything that you are is going to blossom and it's going to be all right. And it's going to make sense later. So
I love it. I love it. I love how you're ever evolving. I love your podcast name. Like it is definitely a testimony to what we're talking about today. It definitely reflects who you are as you're ever evolving, even on this podcast. What are some other things that you could tell somebody who is struggling? Who I know we said it before, but hold that thought because it's a poem I want to read. I want to read, and I'm not going to read it all. I just want to know what you think of it because when I read it to myself, I was like, oh my gosh, like this hit it on the nail. And I'm just reading a part of it from the Worthy book. It says, self confidence is what you show on the outside, self worth is what you feel on the inside. Self confidence is based on mastery, self worth is based on identity. Self confidence is what you can do, self worth is who you are. Self confidence is believing you're skilled enough, self worth is believing you are enough. I wanted to stop right there because everything that you have said in this podcast is in this
that's
book.
crazy. That's
It's
crazy.
in this book, girl. It's like, wait a minute, we've been talking about all of this, but some people just think sometimes that it is not a real thing. And one thing that I can give to the audience and tell them, it's a every evolving thing every day. It's a lifestyle. You have to get up and do the work every day. And I think sometimes people think the work is peaches and cream. What are some things that you want to share before I let you go that you have learned about yourself doing the dirty work, the inside work that they think is peaches and cream?
Mm. Listen, I'm a truth
Just
teller.
one. Yeah.
I'm a truth teller, so I don't mind telling on myself. I
Okay.
learned that I was extremely self-righteous and judgmental, and I thought that I knew it all and had it all together, and I didn't, and I do not. And it took me having to fail and fall to learn that. I learned that I am codependent and I am a people pleaser. But I would go around saying, I'm independent. I don't need, but it wasn't true. I was extremely unhealed and codependent and a people pleaser. And that came from childhood trauma that I had never addressed. And so once you start to do your work, I will say this, it is scary. It is hard. You start to see I would say this, marriage did that for me. Marriage became a mirror and I didn't like what I saw. And I was like,
Yes.
oh crap, like this is bad. So it was scary. It was enlightening. It was, You want to shy away from it. You want to run away from it because it's not pretty. But like I always say, evolution, it isn't pretty. It's hard, but it's necessary. And so I would just say, give yourself grace through that process and don't shy away from it, because the person who comes through that process and the healing and the evolution of, learning who you are, building your self-worth, man, the person on the other side of that is so much better than where you are now. And it may be comfortable where you are now, but just think about how much better you can be going through your process, because we all have a process. So just think at how much better, how much more productive, how much better you'll be, or how easily you'll be more loved. Because some of us are difficult to love because we got stuff that we haven't. Listen, I ain't finna. We at the end of this thing, so I'm not finna, start. But just think about how much better your relationships will be. Your everything, it becomes better when you do your work. And so I just would say it's not easy. I haven't liked what I've seen. I don't like what I'm still dealing with, right? But it's worth it, because I know that Angela on the other side of this particular evolution in this season, and there'll be others, but the Angela that will come on the other side of this will be so much better than she is now. So that's the goal. That's what gives me, the grace to continue to go through it. But I want to say,
you know what, Angela, you have said some amazing things during this topic. I think this was a great topic today. I'm sorry about any technical difficulties we had on either's end, but I know the audience definitely got the point of knowing your self-worth, knowing where you are in life, knowing that you are so much more than what you see if you just do the work. Like Angela said, do the work. And you will be amazed at what you see on the other end. And what she said this season, because every season, like she said, is ever evolving, which is her podcast, Ever Evolving Podcast. Guys, please go like, share, and subscribe to Angela Cherie. She's definitely doing some amazing things, definitely giving back to the community. Angela, I appreciate you so much today. And before we go, I like to end with a random question. So it's summertime. So if it's something that you could, okay, so cookout time, okay? So if it's something that you could, and I'm gonna keep it PG, both of us are married women. So if it's something that you could have on the table that you would replace at a cookout, and I'm gonna say chicken, hamburgers, hot dogs, macaroni and cheese, watermelon, and banana pudding. Which one would go and why? And those some good choices.
it is, but I can tell you 3 to go for me. But you asked for 1. But I'm gonna tell you, I don't do hot. I don't do hot dogs. I don't do hot dogs. Now, don't judge me. It's something about the texture and not really knowing what it's made of. I can't do it. But what's so weird is I can do hot links. Don't ask me why. I don't know. But I can't do hot dogs. It's the weirdest thing. I don't really eat fruit, so I'm not for watermelon. Y'all can have all the watermelon you want all summer, but watermelon is not for me. What was the last one? It was something else you said, but I don't remember. I think it was another fruit. But yeah, I think those would be at least my 2. I can't remember the last one. I think we're having technical difficulties again. Okay, I see you now. You went away for a minute.
I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on today. Tell me them 3 things you said.
So it was hot dogs and watermelon. Again, I don't know what they made of. I can't do hot dogs, but I can do hot links. Watermelon, because I'm not a fruit person. I don't know why. And then I can't remember the last one. I can't remember the last one you said. You said something, but I don't remember the last one. So those are the 2 I know for sure that I would not even look at or touch. We keep going out. Okay, there you go. I can hear you now. I'm like, I'm talking to myself.
I don't know what's going on.
It was hot dogs, watermelon. I don't remember the last one you said. You said something else, and I was like, yeah, no.
I said hamburgers, hot dogs, macaroni and cheese, banana pudding, and watermelon.
Banana pudding. So I love banana pudding. But I can't eat bananas. So those are the 3 things I could not do. So
you like cookie pudding?
I love cookie pudding. Give me some vanilla cookie pudding, and I'm good to go. Watermelon, I don't like fruit, like I said, and hot dogs. I'm really unsure about what it's made of, but I can do hot links. So pass me a link, but keep the hot dogs for the little children.
I'll take that, Angela. I'll take that. Girl, I love me a good old hot dog. I'm looking at you like you like hot dogs. You probably put other stuff in your mouth, but you don't like hot dogs.
Listen, and that's my business. That's Tabitha Brown state, and that's my business.
I hear that. I hear that. But no, I just want to thank you, boo. You know, I got to cut up a little bit before we go. I appreciate you so much, y'all. We are signing out. This is episode number 83 with Truth Be Told Podcast and Angela Cherie, Ever Evolving Podcast. Know your self-worth, guys. Make sure you go like, share, and subscribe to our podcast. Have a good evening. Yay.